No gifts. No call. Nothing, for the 5th straight birthday. Then I saw my sister's Instagram story, a bow wrap car and thank you, Mom and Dad. So I cut them off. 2 days later, Mom showed up crying on my porch. I'm Taylor, and I'm 28 years old. This story starts with my birthday last year, but really, it goes back 5 years. 5 years of forgotten birthdays, 5 years of being the daughter who apparently doesn't matter, 5 years of watching my younger sister Haley get everything handed to her on a silver platter while I got the emotional scraps. Let me paint you a picture of my family dynamic. My parents, Linda and Robert Mitchell, are both successful real estate agents in our suburban town. They make good money, drive nice cars, and live in a beautiful 4-bedroom house with a perfectly manicured lawn. Haley, my 24-year-old sister, still lives at home in her childhood bedroom that they renovated into what basically amounts to a studio apartment with its own entrance. Me? I moved out at 18 and have been supporting myself ever since. Haley has always been the golden child. She was the cheerleader, the homecoming princess, the one who could do no wrong. She went to college on my parents' dime, changed her major 4 times, took 6 years to graduate with a degree in communications, and then moved back home because she needed time to figure things out. Meanwhile, I worked 2 jobs through community college, paid for every credit hour myself, and graduated with a degree in accounting at 21. The birthday thing started when I turned 23. That year, my parents forgot my birthday completely. Not a card, not a call, nothing. When I called them the next day, hurt and confused, my mom's response was, "Oh honey, I'm so sorry. We've been so busy with Haley's job interviews." Haley had been job hunting for 3 months at that point, and apparently, helping her required all their mental energy. 24 came and went the same way. 25, 26, same story. Each year, I told myself it was just an oversight, that they were busy, that maybe they'd remember next year. I made excuses for them because the alternative was too painful to accept. But this year, my 28th birthday on October 15th, something was different. I had moved into a new apartment the month before, started a new job at a prestigious accounting firm downtown, and I was actually doing really well for myself. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd acknowledge this milestone. I even dropped hints during our monthly family dinner in September. My birthday's coming up next month, I mentioned casually while passing the mashed potatoes. That's nice, dear, Mom said, barely looking up from her conversation with Haley about some influencer drama. October 15th arrived on a Tuesday. I woke up early, got ready for work, and checked my phone. Nothing. No missed calls, no text, no Facebook posts. I told myself they'd call later, maybe after work. They didn't. Wednesday came and went. Thursday too. By Friday, I was devastated but not surprised. This was just who they were now, or maybe who they'd always been. Saturday evening, I was curled up on my couch with takeout Chinese food and a bottle of wine, having my own private pity party, when I made the mistake of opening Instagram. I scrolled past the usual content, friends' dinners, vacation photos, memes, and then I saw it. Haley's story. The first slide was a picture of a brand new white BMW sedan with a giant red bow on top, parked in our parents' driveway. The second slide was Haley jumping up and down next to the car, keys in hand, with a caption surprise. "Thank you, Mom and Dad. Best parents ever," car emoji, heart emoji. I stared at my phone screen, rewatching the story 3 times before it fully sank in. They had bought Haley a car. A brand new BMW. While my birthday had passed unacknowledged for the 5th consecutive year, they had surprised Haley with a car worth probably $40,000 on what appeared to be a random Saturday. I clicked through to Haley's main feed and saw more photos. The car from different angles, Haley posing with our parents, all of them beaming. The timestamp showed these were posted just hours ago. In the comments, friends and family were congratulating Haley and praising our parents for being so generous. Our Aunt Karen had commented, "Linda and Robert, you guys are such amazing parents. Haley is so lucky." The irony was suffocating. I set my phone down and just sat there, wine forgotten, Chinese food getting cold. 5 years of forgotten birthdays crashed over me like a wave. 5 years of feeling invisible, unimportant, unloved. And here was the proof, in high definition, that it wasn't about being busy or forgetful. It was about priorities, and I simply wasn't one. The rage that built up inside me was unlike anything I'd ever felt. It wasn't the hot, explosive kind of anger. It was cold, calculating, and absolute. I was done. Completely done. I picked up my phone and started typing a text message to the family group chat. I wrote and deleted probably 10 different versions before settling on something simple. "Congratulations to Haley on the new car. After 5 years of forgotten birthdays, this Instagram story made your priorities crystal clear. I'm done pretending this is a family that cares about me. Don't contact me again." I hit send and immediately blocked all 3 of them on every platform I could think of. Instagram, Facebook, their phone numbers, email addresses. I even blocked them on Venmo because Haley had requested money from me for gas a few months ago. Then I did something I'd never done before. I protected my peace by going completely no contact. No explanations, no long letters detailing their failures as parents, no attempts to make them understand how much they'd hurt me. Just silence. The relief was immediate. For the first time in years, I felt like I was in control of something. I wasn't going to beg for their attention anymore, wasn't going to hope that this time would be different, wasn't going to accept their scraps of affection when it was convenient for them. Sunday and Monday passed peacefully. I worked, went to the gym, cooked dinner, watched Netflix, and enjoyed the silence. No guilt trips, no drama, no disappointment. It was blissful. Tuesday afternoon, I was working from home when my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I looked through the peephole and froze. It was my mother, and she looked like hell. Her usually perfect hair was messy, her makeup was smudged, and she was crying. I considered not answering. I really did. But curiosity got the better of me, and honestly, I wanted to hear what excuse she'd come up with this time. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. "What do you want, Linda?" "Taylor, honey, please, we need to talk. You can't just cut us off like this. We're your family." "Family?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Family remembers birthdays. Family treats all their children equally. Family doesn't require Instagram stories to remind them their other daughter exists. "You don't understand," she sobbed. "Haley needed that car. Her old one broke down, and she has job interviews and—" "Stop." I held up my hand. "Just stop. Haley needed a car, so you bought her a luxury BMW worth at least $50,000? You couldn't have bought her a reliable used car for $8,000? You couldn't have co-signed a loan? It had to be a brand new luxury car with a bow? We wanted to surprise her. When's my birthday, Linda?" She stared at me blankly. "What? My birthday. When is it?" The silence stretched between us for what felt like an eternity. She opened her mouth, closed it, looked confused, then panicked. "You don't know," I said flatly. "Your own daughter's birthday, and you don't even know when it is. It was October 15th, by the way. 5 days ago. The fifth one you've completely ignored." "Oh, Taylor, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy with work and Haley." There it is again. Haley. Everything is always about Haley. Her job search, her needs, her problems. "Do you know what I do for work, Linda? Do you know where I live? Do you know anything about my life that doesn't involve Haley?" She was crying harder now. "Of course I do. You're an accountant, and you live in that apartment. I'm a senior financial analyst at Morrison & Associates. I got promoted 8 months ago. I moved to a new apartment in September. I've been dating someone for 2 months now. I got a raise that puts me in a higher tax bracket than Haley's ever been in her life. But you wouldn't know any of that because you've never asked. Taylor, please, you're our daughter too." "No, I'm not." "Not really. I'm the daughter you had first, the practice round. Haley is your real daughter, the one you actually care about. And I'm done pretending otherwise." She reached out to grab my arm. "You can't mean that. We love you." "Love?" I stepped back from her reach. "You want to know what love looks like? Love looks like remembering important dates. Love looks like equal treatment. Love looks like phone calls that aren't preceded by 'Can you talk to Haley?' Love looks like caring about my life even when it doesn't directly impact your precious golden child." "We can fix this," she pleaded. "We'll make it up to you. We'll get you a car too. I don't want your guilt gifts, Linda. I don't want your panic purchases. I want you to leave." "Taylor, please," I said, "leave. Now." She stood there for another moment, tears streaming down her face, before finally turning and walking back to her car. I watched her drive away, then closed and locked my door. That night, my phone buzzed with notifications. I had temporarily unblocked them to see if they'd try to contact me, and they did. Texts from my dad, voice messages from Haley, more calls from my mom. All variations of the same theme. I was overreacting, they were sorry, they wanted to talk, family is important, I was breaking their hearts. But the one that really got me was Haley's final text: "You're being selfish and dramatic. Mom and Dad do so much for us. You're just jealous because they helped me out. Grow up." Jealous. She thought I was jealous of her car. She completely missed the point, just like I knew she would. It was never about the car. It was about 5 years of being invisible. 5 years of watching her get everything while I got nothing. 5 years of being the forgotten daughter. I blocked them again, this time for good. The next few weeks were strange but peaceful. I threw myself into work, spent more time with friends who actually remembered my birthday, and started therapy to work through the complicated grief of essentially losing your family by choice. My therapist, Dr. Martinez, helped me understand that what I was experiencing was completely normal. "You've been in a relationship with people who couldn't meet your basic emotional needs," she explained during one session. "Setting boundaries isn't punishment. It's self-preservation." She was right. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for disappointment. I wasn't checking my phone hoping for crumbs of attention from people who had made it clear I wasn't a priority. I was free. But freedom came with its own challenges. About 3 weeks after going no contact, I had what Dr. Martinez called a grief wave. I was at Target, of all places, buying laundry detergent when I saw a mother and her 2 adult daughters shopping together. They were laughing about something, the mom had her arms linked with both daughters, and they looked genuinely happy to be together. The longing that hit me was so intense I had to abandon my cart and sit in my car for 20 minutes, crying. That's when the doubts started creeping in. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I should have tried harder to make them understand. Maybe this was all a huge mistake. I called Dr. Martinez for an emergency session that same day. Tell me about the last time you felt genuinely loved by your parents, she said. Not tolerated, not managed, but truly loved and valued. I sat there for 10 minutes trying to think of an answer. 10 minutes of silence in a therapist's office feels like an eternity. Finally, I said, I can't remember a specific moment. And that tells you everything you need to know, she replied gently. You're not grieving the relationship you had with them, Taylor. You're grieving the relationship you wished you had with them. She was absolutely right. I wasn't missing my actual parents, I was missing the idea of having parents who cared about me. Around the same time, I started noticing things about my friendships that I'd never paid attention to before. My best friend Jessica had thrown me a surprise birthday dinner 2 years ago with all our college friends. My coworker Mike always asked about my weekend plans and remembered details about my life that my own family had never bothered to learn. My neighbor Mrs. Chen, an elderly woman I barely knew, had given me homemade cookies when I moved in and always waved enthusiastically when she saw me. These people, who had no obligation to care about me, were showing more genuine interest in my life than my own family ever had. It was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. Work became my salvation during this period. Morrison & Associates was going through a busy season, and I volunteered for extra projects just to keep my mind occupied. My boss, Patricia, noticed my increased dedication and called me into her office one Friday afternoon. Taylor, your work has always been excellent, but lately it's been exceptional. Is everything okay at home? I found myself telling her about my family situation. Patricia listened without judgment, and when I finished, she said something that stuck with me. Some people spend so much energy trying to fix broken relationships that they never invest in the healthy ones. It sounds like you're finally investing in yourself. She was right. For years, I'd been pouring emotional energy into people who gave me nothing back, while taking for granted the relationships that were actually nourishing me. During this time, I also started dating someone new. I met Jake through a mutual friend at a Halloween party about 6 weeks after cutting off my family. He was dressed as a vampire, I was dressed as Wednesday Addams, and he made me laugh within 5 minutes of meeting him. What struck me most about Jake wasn't just that he was funny and kind, but that he was genuinely interested in me. He asked follow-up questions about my work, remembered stories I told him, and seemed to actually enjoy my company. On our third date, he surprised me with tickets to a comedy show because I'd mentioned in passing that I loved stand-up comedy. How did you remember that? I asked, genuinely puzzled. Because you told me, he said, looking confused by my confusion. Why wouldn't I remember? It was such a simple exchange, but it highlighted how abnormal my family dynamics had been. Jake remembered a casual comment because that's what people do when they care about someone. My family couldn't remember my birthday because they didn't prioritize caring about me. As Jake and I got more serious, he started noticing things about me that even I hadn't realized. You always seem surprised when people remember things about you, he observed one evening as we were cooking dinner together. Like you're shocked that anyone would pay attention to what you say. He was absolutely right. I had been trained by my family to expect inattention, to be grateful for scraps, to never ask for more than people were willing to give. Being with someone who naturally gave his full attention felt almost foreign at first. Jake also helped me see how my family's treatment had affected my other relationships. I had a tendency to overgive, to never ask for help, to always be the one reaching out first. I'd been operating under the assumption that love had to be earned through perfect behavior and constant availability. You know you don't have to earn my love, right? He said one night when I apologized for the third time for being tired after a long day at work. You can just exist and be loved for who you are. It was a revolutionary concept. Meanwhile, the attempts at contact from my family continued sporadically. My dad tried calling from different numbers, Haley created fake social media accounts to try to follow me, and my mom even sent letters to my workplace, which was both embarrassing and infuriating. The workplace letters were actually what pushed me to consider getting a restraining order. My coworkers started asking questions, and I had to explain to my boss that my family was essentially stalking me. Patricia was understanding but concerned. This level of persistence after you've clearly stated your boundaries is concerning, Taylor. Have you considered legal options? I consulted with a lawyer, who explained that while their behavior was inappropriate, it probably didn't rise to the level needed for a restraining order unless it escalated further. However, she did help me draft a cease and desist letter that I sent to all 3 of them via certified mail. The letter was simple and direct. This is formal notice that I do not want any contact from any member of the Mitchell family. This includes phone calls, text messages, emails, social media contact, letters, gifts, or third-party messages. Any further attempts at contact will be considered harassment and may result in legal action. After the certified letters were delivered, the contact stopped for a while. But the silence was almost worse than the attempts at reaching out. At least when they were trying to contact me, I knew they were thinking about me. The silence made me wonder if they had finally given up entirely. Dr. Martinez helped me work through these conflicting emotions. You wanted them to respect your boundaries, and now they are. That's what you asked for? I know, I said. But part of me hoped they'd fight harder. That they'd realize what they were losing and actually change. And what would that look like to you? I thought about it. I guess I wanted them to acknowledge what they'd done wrong. To apologize sincerely. To show me that they understood how their actions had affected me. And if they did that now, would it change anything? That was the million-dollar question. Would a genuine apology and acknowledgement repair the damage of 27 years? Would I be able to trust that they had actually changed, or would I always be waiting for them to revert to their old patterns? Honestly, I didn't know. But I also didn't think it mattered, because they had shown no signs of that level of self-reflection or accountability. During the holidays, the emotional challenges intensified. Thanksgiving and Christmas had always been big family affairs at my parents' house. Even though those gatherings had often left me feeling invisible and undervalued, they were still familiar. The absence of that tradition left a void that was hard to ignore. Jake's family invited me to both holidays, and they were wonderful to me. His mom, Susan, went out of her way to include me in family traditions and made sure I felt welcome. His sister Amy treated me like the sister she'd never had. His dad, Tom, was warm and funny and genuinely interested in my career. But there were moments during those celebrations when I felt like an imposter. When Jake's mom would hug me goodbye and say I love you, honey, a part of me wondered if I deserved that kind of unconditional acceptance. When his family would share embarrassing childhood stories and include me in the laughter, I felt both grateful and sad that I'd never had that kind of easy, comfortable family dynamic. You seem melancholy, Jake observed on Christmas night as we drove back to my apartment. I'm happy, I said, and I meant it. But it's complicated. Your family is amazing, and they make me feel so loved. But it also makes me realize what I missed out on. It's hard to explain. You don't have to explain, he said, reaching over to squeeze my hand. You can be grateful and sad at the same time. Those feelings can coexist. That was another thing I loved about Jake. He didn't try to fix my emotions or tell me I should feel differently. He just accepted that healing was complicated and messy. New Year's Eve brought an unexpected challenge. Jake and I were at a party with friends, and at midnight, everyone was calling their families to wish them Happy New Year. I watched Jake call his parents, saw other friends texting siblings and grandparents, and felt a familiar pang of loneliness. Do you want to step outside? Jake asked, noticing my discomfort. We stood on the host's balcony, looking out at the city lights. I don't miss them, I said suddenly. But I miss having them to miss, if that makes sense. Jake nodded. You miss the idea of having a family to call on New Year's Eve. Exactly. I don't actually want to call them. I don't want to go back to feeling invisible and unimportant. But I want to have parents who would want me to call them. You will, he said confidently. Maybe not biological parents, but you'll build the family you want. We'll build it together. That was the night I knew I was going to marry him. About a month after the confrontation, I ran into my Aunt Karen at the grocery store. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me, which immediately told me the family had been talking. Taylor, honey, how are you? She asked awkwardly. I'm great, actually. How are you? Well, I heard about what happened with your parents. Your mom called me, and she's really upset. I continued scanning items at the self-checkout. I'm sure she is. Don't you think you're being a little harsh? They made a mistake, but they're still your parents. I finished scanning and looked at her directly. Karen, when's my birthday? She blinked, clearly not expecting the question. I think it's in October? October 15th. It's been October 15th for 27 years. Yet somehow, Haley's random car purchase was more worthy of your congratulations than 5 years of my completely ignored birthdays. So no, I don't think I'm being harsh. I think I'm finally being honest about who matters in this family and who doesn't. I paid for my groceries and left her standing there looking uncomfortable. I felt bad for about 30 seconds, then remembered that she had indeed congratulated my parents on Facebook for buying Haley a car while never once acknowledging my existence on my birthday. The holidays were interesting. Thanksgiving came and went without any contact from my family. Christmas too. I spent both with my boyfriend Jake's family, who welcomed me with open arms and treated me like I'd been part of their family for years. Jake's mom, Susan, even gave me a thoughtful birthday gift when she found out my family had a history of forgetting. That's terrible, she said when Jake explained the situation. No one should feel invisible on their birthday. It was such a simple statement, but it meant everything to me. Someone got it. Someone understood that it wasn't about gifts or money or even attention. It was about being seen, being valued, being remembered. In January, I got a call from an unknown number. I usually don't answer those, but something made me pick up. Taylor? It's Haley. I almost hung up immediately. How did you get this number? I got a new phone. Taylor, we need to talk. Mom and Dad are. They're not doing well. Mom cries all the time, and Dad barely speaks. You're tearing this family apart. I'm tearing the family apart? I laughed. Haley, I removed myself from a family that had already torn me apart. There's a difference. That's not true. We've always been there for you. Name one time in the last 5 years that any of you were there for me without me asking first. Silence. Name one important event in my life that any of you acknowledged without prompting. More silence. Tell me one thing about my current life that doesn't involve you or affect you directly. Taylor, that's not fair. It's completely fair. You want me to come back and pretend everything is normal, but you can't even answer basic questions about my life. You don't know me, Haley. None of you do. You know the version of me that exists to serve your needs, to be there when you need support or money or someone to listen to your problems. But the real me? The me with dreams and goals and feelings and a birthday? That person has been invisible to this family for years. But we're family. No, we're related. There's a difference. Family shows up. Family remembers. Family treats you like you matter even when it's not convenient. What we were was a dysfunctional group of people who shared DNA and holiday dinners. I can't believe you're being so cold. I can't believe it took me this long to stop accepting scraps of affection from people who clearly don't value me. I'm not cold, Haley. I'm finally warm, because I'm not constantly burning my energy trying to earn love from people who were never going to give it freely. She hung up on me. I blocked the new number. Spring arrived, and with it came a sense of renewal I hadn't felt in years. I was thriving at work, my relationship with Jake was getting serious, and I had built a chosen family of friends who actually cared about me. I hadn't realized how much energy I'd been wasting on my biological family until I stopped. In July, Jake proposed. We had talked about marriage extensively, and I knew it was coming, but when he got down on one knee in the park where we had our first date, I still cried happy tears. For the first time in my adult life, someone was choosing me first. Someone was making me their priority. We decided on a wedding the following October, just over a year away, with close friends and Jake's family. As we planned, the question of my family came up. Are you sure you don't want to invite them? Jake asked gently. I know you're hurt, but it's your wedding. That's exactly why I don't want to invite them, I replied. This is supposed to be the happiest day of my life, surrounded by people who love and support me. I don't want to spend my wedding day wondering if my own parents will show up or if they'll forget that too. Jake understood. He had seen how much happier and more confident I'd become since cutting contact. He had also witnessed my birthday last year, where his family threw me a surprise party while my own family posted pictures of Haley's weekend trip to Napa on social media. We sent invitations in August. Small, elegant cards to 35 people. Every single person on that list was someone who genuinely cared about me, someone who had been present in my life in meaningful ways. 3 weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. This time it was my father. Taylor, your mother told me you're engaged. Congratulations. I was so shocked to hear from him that I didn't hang up immediately. How did you find out? Your cousin Melissa saw it on your Facebook before you blocked everyone. Taylor, you can't seriously be planning a wedding without your family. I'm planning a wedding with my family, Dad. My chosen family. People who actually know me and care about me. We care about you. We've made mistakes, but we're still your parents. We deserve to be at your wedding. Deserve? The word came out sharper than I intended. What exactly do you think you deserve? You've forgotten 5 birthdays in a row. You've never asked about my job, my life, my dreams. You bought Haley a $40,000 car on a random Saturday but couldn't be bothered to send me a text on my birthday. What part of that makes you think you deserve anything from me? We raised you, you housed and fed a child because that's legally required. Raising me would have involved caring about who I was becoming, supporting my goals, and treating me like I mattered. Haley got raised. I got managed. That's not true, and you know it. Dad, what's my favorite color? What does that have to do with anything? Just answer the question. What's my favorite color? Silence. What's my middle name? More silence. What degree did I graduate with? Where do I work? What's my boyfriend's name? When did I move to my new apartment? Taylor, this is ridiculous, is it? These are basic facts about your daughter's life, and you don't know any of them. But I bet you know Haley's favorite restaurant, her current Netflix obsession, and exactly how much her car payment would be if she had one. He sighed heavily. We can learn. We can do better. It's too late for that. I needed parents who cared enough to learn these things over the past 27 years. I needed parents who didn't require a dramatic confrontation to realize they'd been neglecting me. I needed parents who loved me enough to remember my birthday without being reminded. We do love you. Maybe. But not enough. Not consistently. Not in ways that actually matter to me. And I'm done accepting love that comes with conditions and exceptions. So that's it? You're never going to speak to us again? I'm going to live my life surrounded by people who choose me every day, not just when it's convenient or when they feel guilty. If you had wanted to be those people, you had 27 years to figure it out. I hung up and blocked yet another number. The wedding was perfect. October 10th, exactly 2 years after I had cut off my family, in a beautiful garden venue. Jake's family treated me like their own daughter, and our friends celebrated us with genuine joy. During his speech, Jake's father said something that stuck with me. When you marry someone, you're not just gaining a spouse, you're gaining a whole new family member. And we couldn't be happier to officially welcome Taylor into ours. I cried, but they were happy tears. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged somewhere. We honeymooned in Italy for 2 weeks. When we got back, there was a pile of mail waiting for us, including a card addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Jake Morrison. I opened it, expecting another congratulations card from one of our friends. It was from my mother. The card had a picture of a sunset and thinking of you on the front. Inside, she had written, "Dear Taylor and Jake, congratulations on your marriage. We saw the photos on Melissa's Facebook, and you looked beautiful. We wanted to be there to celebrate with you. We love you and we're sorry for everything. We hope someday you'll find it in your heart to forgive us. Love, Mom and Dad." I showed it to Jake and he wrapped his arms around me. "How do you feel?" Sad, I admitted. But not in the way you might think. I'm sad for them, because they missed their daughter's wedding due to their own choices. I'm sad for the relationship we could have had if they had been different people. But I'm not sad for me anymore. I'm exactly where I belong. That was 18 months ago. My 29th birthday came and went last month, celebrated beautifully by my husband and chosen family. No forgotten dates, no disappointments, no checking my phone hoping for acknowledgement from people who had proven they wouldn't give it. I still get cards sometimes, usually around holidays or my birthday. They go straight in the trash, unopened. I've heard through mutual relatives that Haley still lives at home, that she's had 3 different jobs in the past year, and that my parents are considering couples therapy because my absence has apparently put strain on their marriage. I feel no satisfaction in their struggles, but I also feel no obligation to fix them. They made choices, and those choices had consequences. I made choices too, and I'm living with mine happily. Sometimes people ask me if I regret cutting them off, if I think I overreacted, if I miss having parents. The answer is complicated. Do I miss having parents? Absolutely. But I never really had parents in the way that mattered. What I had were people who shared my DNA and expected unconditional love despite providing conditional care. Do I regret my choice? Not for a single moment. The peace I've found, the self-respect I've developed, the love I've accepted from people who actually see me is worth more than any relationship built on scraps and false hope. I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop accepting treatment that makes you feel small. Sometimes family isn't about blood or obligation. Sometimes family is about choice and respect and showing up consistently for the people who matter to you. My name is Taylor Morrison now, and I'm 29 years old. My birthday is October 15th, and it's celebrated by people who love me enough to remember it. I'm a senior financial analyst, I live in a beautiful apartment with my husband, and I'm happy. And that's a better ending than any reconciliation could have given me.